Can you get rid of a kink? First of all, I would like to ask you a question. Why do you want to do it? Probably because it brings some harm. It brings some distress. It gets to the point when it's unhealthy, when it interferes with your daily life and you don't like how it goes. Because most kinks are pretty harmless, to be honest. Yeah, that's normal to have kinks. It's normal to have this like diverse sexuality and to like some particular things. But now we are dealing with addiction, with some unhealthy obsessions, and especially if it happens online. Because most people get, and by people I mean men, okay? Usually men have this question if they can get rid of something because they cannot find the balance between addiction and just exploring their sexuality. So that would depend, yeah, what you mean by getting rid of it. And if you're watching this video, probably you've been thinking about it. There is a big difference between suppression and transformation, and I'm gonna focus on the latter because suppression, it's like you're gonna fight it, right? And some men believe that it can be overcome with discipline, it can be overcome with just like willpower, and it's so much stronger than you. This is not something you can fight because this is a whole system. Yeah, what is a kink? If we look at it, yeah, from a deeper perspective, it depends on the early imprinting. So something that's studied, again, there are debates about it, whether it was predetermined or obtained. But anyway, something that's studied early, then something that's been repetitive, something that changes your brain chemistry. That's why it becomes so addictive. Yeah, we have inner drugs, and when your brain releases things like dopamine, serotonin, endorphins, etc., it creates a cycle and you're going to crave it more. It's not that easy to get rid of it. And of course, reinforcement. So when you have all these factors, you have to understand that you are dealing with a big system. The system that your brain has been creating and tailoring for years. It's like a big house. It's a castle with foundation, with the walls, with the roof, with different rooms, and now you're gonna fight it. Probably it's not a good idea because you don't even see the full castle, yeah? You see it's just the tip of the iceberg. But in order to be able to fight something, this something has to be your equal or weaker than you. Then you will win. But if you fight something so enormous, something that's so much bigger than you, you're gonna fail anyway. Your brain would be like, dude, what are you even doing? Because your brain doesn't have the purpose to change anything if it doesn't see the benefits, yeah, like true benefits. You might think that, oh, well, I will save money, I will build a relationship with someone, yeah, instead of just this non-stop online indulgence. But to be honest, yeah, from my experience, from what I've seen in men, and like submissive men online in particular, often they say, well, I even tried therapy, I even hired a sex therapist, nothing works. Often without even realizing it, they want to highlight the idea that this is so powerful that I can't resist it. So this is a part of their fantasy. This is so much stronger than me. I have no choice but to give in. But if you're serious about doing something with this, you can keep watching this video, yeah? And let's talk about transformation. Sometimes kinks can be reshaped thanks to our neuroplasticity still. Even if we can be quite rigid, we still can change things, not just the way you think you can change it. Again, if it's something you want to get rid of, it's probably an addiction. We're probably dealing with one or another addiction. And how do we work with an addiction? Personally, to me, the best techniques always include CBT. You naughty. Cognitive behavioral therapy and NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. Things that are gonna help you to break the link between the trigger and the arousal response. And before I start talking about the steps, I want to mention this again. They probably cannot vanish, your kinks. They cannot just be erased from your brain, from your whole system. If they can vanish, maybe it's because they were not that strong in the first place. But they can be redirected, they can be transformed, and they can lose power. Now let's get to step-by-step way to lessen the power of your kink / addiction. Number one, you have to identify the core of the kink. Because often, and I keep repeating the same thing, often there is some underlying need, some psychological need, some more like general need that you have at the basis of your kink that bothers you so much. Is it the loss of control, or is it control? Is it power? Is it nurturing? Is it love, shame, taboo, pain? And I would recommend to think about it. To actually spend time and think about it. What kind of need you get satisfied when you either crave, or play on this kink. Write it down. Start journaling. Spend some time with yourself. Spend some time understanding yourself. Number two, break the reinforcement cycle. It sounds so heroic. Break the cycle. But you're not gonna take out a sword and actually break it. You have to set a certain period of time when you are not going to act on your kink in porn, in fantasy, in real life, and you don't have to start big, because again, it's much bigger than you. So start with, 1 week. If you do it every day, probably 1 or 2 days at a time. 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month. And again, don't treat it as something you have to resist. This period of time has to be manageable. It has to be not too easy, but at the same time, not too hard. Because you are not supposed to create resistance. You are supposed to treat it as an experiment. You're your own object. You have to observe yourself and how your body reacts, how your brain reacts. Because when you start craving it, I want you to track your emotions and again to write them down. What causes that? What kind of state of mind you are in when you want to act on your kink? Are you bored? Are you frustrated? Are you hungry for intimacy, for connection? What is going on there? Because often it's not about the fetish itself. Often that's about the state. And you are probably replacing something, the core need. If you relapse, there is nothing wrong with this again. Don't beat yourself for it. If you relapse, you have to notice the context. And again, write it down. You are your own tested object. Number 3, learn how to replace instead of suppressing it. For example, you can think about some non-kinky things that can satisfy the same need. If you like to be nurtured, Yeah, when someone else takes care of you, when you are, for example, you like being touched. Yeah, you are like on a feminine spectrum of submission. Try to take care of your body more. Try to go for massages. Try to go to a spa. Yeah, try to be pampered. If you like pain, try to hire. Okay, here I have to be very careful, yeah, because some of you have the fantasy about hiring a personal trainer who would dominate you. But anyway, yeah, you can sign up for some kind of sport, yeah, some intense sport where you can experience very similar, well, not just emotions, yeah, but like chemical release. This is something I have troubles with. This is, I had this conversation with my personal trainer recently. I said that, well, they say that it's like a good gym session is similar to a BDSM session, because at the end of the session I'm supposed to release endorphins, yeah, and to be proud that I could manage the whole session, yeah, because it was hard, and I can feel happy about it, and that doesn't really happen to me. I know why I go to the gym. Yeah, I do it for myself, but I don't have this happiness about it. I don't like being tortured, and probably because I don't have it in me. I understand that probably it's very hard to find the same thing that's gonna give you the same mental and physical stimulation, because not so many things can be compared with this. But again, it's also about trying. It's about teaching your brain to release dopamine for different activities. Then number 4, cognitive reframe. And again, here we stick to journaling. I want you to answer 3 questions. I want you to write down the answers to 3 questions. Number 1, what story am I telling myself about this kink? Yeah, what does it mean to you? Number 2, what's the cost of keeping it central? And number 3, what would it mean to be aroused by something else instead? When you reframe it as less powerful, you take away, yeah, you chip away this mythical aura around this kink. And again, as I said, lots of you prefer the mystery, the omnipowerful, intense, uncontrollable force. Yeah, this idea of the kink, that's something you cannot control. Number 5, gradual exposure without reward. Engage in your favorite activity without finishing. You know what I mean? Don't go full mode indulgence. Just test it. How it's gonna be if you don't release. It doesn't mean that you have to stay constantly aroused. It means that you pause without fully finishing. You have to create a cycle when your brain starts to delink from the dopamine hit. It's not a fast process, but this is very similar to, for example, how people reduce phobias. Yeah, gradual exposure. Number 6, visualization, and here I would use this NLP technique. Yeah, when you imagine your kink, I would have to create a separate video for this probably, yeah, but in a couple of words, you have to imagine your kink. You have to imagine your addiction. It has to take some form, maybe some smell, color. Yeah, you have to vividly see it in front of you. And then you play with this, not in the way you think. You play with this by moving it in the space in front of your eyes. This is actually very powerful for anything. Yeah, how to reduce the power of a certain thing or a person. You make it smaller, you make it more distant, you make it flat, you make it boring or you make it disgusting. Yeah, you play with the image, so you minimize the power of it. Number 7, you have to replace it with, not with the gym this time, but something in a sexual context with actual intimacy, because often that's exactly what we crave. I would also recommend to stick to one person. Yeah, if we are talking about dom sub context, I definitely recommend to find one dom instead of jumping from one to another, creating even a bigger cycle of addiction. But unfortunately, I know lots of cases, not lots, but some cases when men addicted to kink, femdom, fiendom in particular, they would start dating a woman from this scene. Dating. Like, imagine, this is the dream for so many subs, to start dating a dom. But unfortunately, so many men only fantasize about it. Oh my god, imagine if only this dom was my girlfriend, if only I had a dom girlfriend. But again, lots of them think that they want it, because in fact they won't be able to appreciate it. At first they would be so aroused, so thrilled, but then it would disappear because they are chasing something different. They're chasing the taboo element. And if she's your girlfriend, what's the taboo about it? So they're gonna start doing things behind her back, and they would ruin this relationship eventually. So I would recommend to redirect your addiction towards just one person. And of course, number 8, I have to mention that you should get outside support. You should get a therapist, but also careful about it, because again, sometimes it's just another way to satisfy your kink and to prove it to yourself that nothing works and you're doomed. And sometimes therapy is not the way out. I hear it all the time now. There are more and more subs who go to therapy, they talk to their therapist, and they realize that they don't understand anything. Not anything, but the look in their eyes, subs immediately can feel it, that they are either being judged and they feel humiliated, which also targets the kink, and they feel like there's something about it, even my therapist wanted to laugh at me, or they just feel that it's just very different experience, that this person, their therapist, don't know how to deal with this. They would give them some general instructions, but it wouldn't help. Anyway, that's it for today. I'll see you in the next video. Not sure when. I don't feel motivated to make videos on a regular basis, to be honest. But someday. Good luck.